Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I don't know the song, but I know the artist, so I know we're in for a treat, a trip, a journey, a whatever. This was requested by Dougie U. I think that's how you say it. It's a pretty cool name, Dougie U. If you had an A in there, you'd have all the vowels, including the Y. John Prine's The Great Compromise. That is such a John Prine title. All right, let's see what The Compromise is all about. It's always a game of connect the dots with John.
I knew a girl who was almost a lady. She had a way with all the men in her life. Every inch of her blossom and beauty. She was born on the 4th of July. Well, she lived in an aluminum house trailer, and she worked in a jukebox saloon, and she spent all the money that I give her just to see the old man in the moon. I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory and awake in the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the Great Compromise. Well, we'd go out on Saturday evenings to the drive-in on Route 41, and it was there that I first suspected she was doing what she'd already done. She said, "Johnny, won't you get me some popcorn?" And she knew I had to walk pretty far. And as soon as I passed through the moonlight, she hopped into a foreign sports car. I used to sleep at foot of Old Glory and awake in the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the Great Compromise.
To hear what his compromise is, I have an idea. Anything with him.
Well, you know, I could have beat up that fella, but it was her that had hopped into his car. And many times I fought to protect her, but this time she was going too far.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Now some folks, they call me a coward, 'cause I left her at the drive-in that night. But I'd rather have names thrown at me
Yeah.
than to fight for a thing that ain't right.
Yeah. I feel that, man. I feel that. So if somebody doesn't want you anymore, you go around kicking, fighting, and all that stuff. And maybe you do a little bit, but then you realize, she doesn't want you. She doesn't want you. It's the way that goes.
I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory.
What's that about, though?
And awake in the dawn's early light. But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the Great Compromise.
It's his compromise.
Well, she writes all the fellas love letters, saying greetings, come and see me real soon. And they go and line up in the barroom, spend the night in that sick woman's room. But sometimes I get awful lonesome
Yeah.
And I wish she was my girl instead.
Yeah.
But she won't let me live with her, and she makes me live in my head. I used to sleep at the foot of Old Glory and awake in the dawn's early light.
Military guy.
But much to my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I was a victim of the Great Compromise.
Yeah, when I listen to John, there's not uncommon that there's something that I'm missing in here. Some reference to something like why at the foot of Old Glory. I'm thinking, well, was he a military guy at some point, or was supposed to be sort of like, in one sense, bestowing honor upon him? But that, I mean, what kind of inferences can be drawn reasonably? John, but he put so many details in there. So it's follow the breadcrumbs, the trail, and to try to find a common thread in the whole thing. But the compromise, it seems like there were at least two in here, but one was his, not to fight the guy, not to continue fighting for her, let her go. So he had to sort of compromise that. Yeah, that just seems that way, not to continue fighting for her, because he gets lonely. Lonesome, I think was his word, same import. And so he would like to be with her on occasion, but she doesn't want to be with her. She won't let him. And that's another compromise on a certain level on his behalf, whether to continue fighting for her or not. And it's like, no. When a woman leaves, it's a series of compromises you have to make. How much are you going to keep fighting for her when she says she doesn't want you? So that's a classic story told by one of the great storytellers of all time, one of the great lyricists of all time in all genres of music, John Prine. All right, I'm going to rate this. And the number that popped into my head was an 8.5. Nothing complex about it. With John, it's always about the lyrics, but the way he sings somehow just manages to draw you in. There's a sincerity about him, and I love that part of John. So there it is. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video. Keep rocking the country.